Hello, everybody. It's Connor. Head is still hot. Head is hurting. Don't know if that's a mixture of enjoying a friend's 30th or Leeds United. Yeah, just completely. Hold on, everyone. Let me just refresh this. Make sure I'm just. Yeah, keep coming in. Hold on a sec. Hello. Yeah. This is more going to be like a bit of a. It's not three things we learned. Just to steady a lot of you guys off. If you don't want to be here, don't be here. You know how this is going to go. You've seen me before. I try to be as rational as I can, but I criticize where criticism is warranted. And I've got a lot of things to say today. So shout out to all of you guys that are here. I know you all tuned into Gabe's last night. You probably saw me lose my mind. I'm still as hot as I was last night. And I've got a lot of things to talk about in a little bit more detail. So make sure you stay with me. Make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Shout out to all of you guys who've been enjoying more content. I'm trying to get as much out as I can covering this club, which is really testing my patience at this moment in time. So Leeds, in the biggest game of the season, get absolutely battered against QPR. QPR 4, Leeds United 0. Hear it from the rooftops. 4-0 in a must-win game. Must-win game. 4-0. I'm still bubbling at how that can happen. How your entire team... I'm doing player ratings after this on the Patreon. What am I going to do? Who gets above a 3? Burpo again, probably. Seems to be the only one who's actually turned up post-international break. Leeds, disgusting, atrocious, diabolical, abhorrent. Nowhere near it. First 10 minutes, passes going astray, sloppy, link-up play abysmal, falling down too easily. QPR right up for it. Why are they more up for it than we are before the game starts? What's Farke saying to him in the changing room? What are they just? Is it sort of nonchalant? We'll get up for it. We'll get used to it. Yeah, we'll get onto it when we can, lads. But let's go into this a little bit easy. What happened to the fast pace of the game? What happened to us scoring early, like we did last time against QPR? For that to be the performance that they put in, and they still the clappers out there saying that we'll get that's fine. It doesn't matter. We'll go into the playoffs and win. Keep coming in, everyone. I'm just going to refresh. But yeah, I'm struggling to sort of compute what happened. Shout out to all the members and stuff like that, everybody. We'll get into your stuff in a bit. I just want to rant for a little bit. Yeah, they started the game horrifically, absolutely horrifically, and fully deserved to be 2-0 down. Alaya Gruev was nothing short of pathetic, timid, soft, just nothing when it comes to a combative midfielder. Said it last night. Look, I don't want to make too many generalizations, but I've said it on the channel numerous times. I've said it on the debrief. I've said it everywhere, and I do stick by my convictions quite a bit. Things will change in football when it comes to form, when it comes to results and stuff like that, and you change your opinions. But when it comes to players, I rarely move on players, rarely move. I don't flip-flop at all. Players can play themselves into form, i.e. Patrick Bamford, but are they good enough, in my opinion? No. And it is what it is. That's what I'm standing by. But, we did miss Bamford last night. So we know, look, one of his streaks would have happened towards the back end of the season. He's been awful for 10, 11 games, but he started against Borough, and we normally see this with Patrick Bamford, a confidence player. But Alaya Gruev last night, for me, he killed Leeds. He killed Leeds in the first 15, 20, 25 minutes. I'm not putting it all down to Alaya Gruev. And we're going to get on to Daniel Farke. Don't you worry about that in due course. But Alaya Gruev, I knew Elias Share was going to score when he picked up the ball on the halfway line. And he's got 10, 15 yards of space to run into. This is their most dangerous player, by the way. This is who the management, the staff, we should have game plans around their best player, how to nullify their best player. Do we do that? What do we do in training? Because what I saw last night was complete negligence, disrespect to QPR, and ultimately disrespect to the fans because they turned up, in my opinion, disinterested and complacent in the first half. The whole 90. How you can get dominated by a team in 17th on 50 points like that, I will never understand. I'll never understand, and I will never be able to compute in a must-win game. Shout out to Ipswich, who'll go up now. Automatics. Leicester obviously promoted last night. Shout out to them as well. But Gruev killed us, in my opinion, in those first sort of 20, 30 minutes. Anderson got that shot away. Should have blocked it. Gruev, once again, he had half a turn. Anderson was half a turn quicker than him. A step too quick, as Cher was. You know Cher's going to bend it in. You know Cher is going to turn in on his right foot and shoot. And Gruev shows him inside. Has a crack, bounces off Rodon, lackadaisically shoves his sort of arm out there to block it. And then Meslier, just listen, I'm not gonna blame him for that one because we've got more to get into with that. Average, below average. He's not even average. And the stats will tell you it. But the Bielsa stands who still adore this man for whatever reason will come on and tell me that he's still good enough. He's still Premier League, apparently. Still Premier League. Tell me how that guy has improved this season. Oh, yeah, we've had the ball and we've got a ridiculous team this level. So the ball's been nowhere near him. Go look at his save percentage. I'm having people still tell me clean sheets wise, he's getting X, Y, and Z. Doesn't matter. That's a team. That's a unit thing. Clean sheets. Look at his save percentage. Look at his handling. Look at his distribution last night. What is this guy about? And you just look at him and he's like, oh. We need a man in there. A man. A demanding goalkeeper who bosses that defense around. Bosses that midfield, that team round, who's a leader from the back. But we've got a timid boy still who's scared of shots and scared to say anything, scared to command his area, scared to come and collect the ball. It's an absolute joke that you've got, in my opinion, Illan Meslier still between the sticks. Still between the sticks. And once again, you saw last night when you need to rely on him, when you need for him just to keep us in the game a little bit, just what are we doing? You know, easy shots that can be saved. Did he make a save last night? Don't think he did. You know, the corner that came in went through his legs. The guy is so predictable. It's just obvious. You're never going to get even a penalty save from him. Just the basics of football goalkeeping. He's not mastered. He hasn't improved whatsoever this season. No chance. And we imagine taking that back to the Premier League. Jesus Christ. They'd have a field day. Amount of shots on goal we'd have to face with Illan Meslier in there. The polo mint. Hologram. Listen. Gruev, nowhere near it. Midfield, nowhere near it. Now, but what do you do? What do you do? As a manager, I'm seeing Leroy say it's not over till it's over. Still see where Ipswich stand after the next two games. Then we'll just... Leroy, are you a member as well? But are you really... and this is what we'll get, Leroy. We'll get loads of people coming on the channel now 3 days later going, calm down. Well, you've got to be realistic. Don't overreact. This isn't overreacting. We've picked up 8 points since the international break. This isn't just a reaction to the QPR game last night, but that's the cherry on top of the actual shit cake that we have right now. Or ice cream, I should say. It's been horrific since the international break. So this form going into the playoffs, do you genuinely believe that we'll do it? Do you genuinely believe that Ipswich are going to drop points in their next week? They might drop a couple of points, but they're not going to drop. Ipswich will probably still get 5 points minimum. They're relaxed going into this. There's no pressure on Ipswich now. So the pressure that we felt last night, which apparently didn't convey itself on the pitch, Ipswich don't have to feel anything now. They go to Hull, they go to Coventry, yeah, they have to pick something up. Huddersfield on the last day of the season, they don't feel any pressure. Just go into it, play your football. So Leeds have actually taken that burden off Ipswich now by completely bottling it. And I'll still hear as well, and this is before we're going to get into the specifics, the super chats and stuff, I'll still hear, but we've got 90 points. Well, if we don't go up, it means nothing. It means jack. If we don't go up, but we get 90 points, okay, we'll talk about that in the pub with our friends in a couple of seasons' time. Do you remember that season where we got 90 points? Wow, that was amazing. Did you go up? No. Now, I'm not saying we won't go up. I'm not saying we can't do that through the playoffs at all. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is some people have really got to wake up to what we're witnessing right now. Mr. Negative, Mr. Pessimistic. Not really. I think a lot of you guys in there, and I think myself included, are realistic. That shirt has weighed way too heavy for too many players for too long. And we've seen it for 2 decades now. 2 decades. We've had lovely little spells. This has been a great spell this season with where we're at. But we are in serious danger of just completely blowing up again. And as Leeds fans, why do we always have to endure this shite? Because the club is too big for certain players. Last night was an utter disgrace. An utter disgrace from top to bottom. Now, I want to get into the manager. I've got to get into the manager. This is a man who moans and whinges about the time, okay? And hold on, guys. We're just going to refresh here again. Sorry, I'm having to refresh every now and again, everybody. Just stick with me. It's only like a couple of seconds. This is a guy who moans and whinges about the schedule, which doesn't make any sense. We all moan about the schedule. You got fans out, speaking to Brownie last night. He's gone down to Loftus Road. Well, yeah, I get it from a fan perspective. Of course I do. It's a lot of money for the average fan going down there. From Borough to QPR, Sky have screwed us 100%. We all know that. But he doesn't make any sense. I'll tell you why. He moans and whinges, but then he puts the exact same team out that would be knackered, that would be tired, but Perot. And then what you'll see is Cresswell, Gelhardt, Anthony, Joseph. Some of them will get no minutes whatsoever, and I'm looking at Cresswell and normally Gelhardt. Then you'll get Anthony, who's been excellent, in my opinion, when he's played for Leeds United this season and has been completely undervalued by the manager. I know we've had wingers who've done exponentially well, but at points they've underperformed and they're still young, and Anthony can come on and make a difference. So he's undervalued his importance. He's also got Matteo Joseph there. And how long? And you'll all have been called it. I've been called it. Delusional, a moron, this, that, and the other for wanting Matteo Joseph to start and get more minutes. Okay. So you've got 4 players there. Let me just look at this. Okay. So we've got Cresswell, who can make a difference on set pieces. Why? Because you can put Ethan Ampadu back into the midfield. Crazy. But he's a better defender than Pascal Struijk and everybody else. No, he's not. But now people are starting to realize, no, he's not. So let's actually put a centre back at the back. Okay. A centre-back who did well in the Championship last season, and a centre-back last season who was very, very good from set pieces. Imagine that. A centre-back who can head a ball in the back of the goal. Wouldn't that be great? So we could put Ampadu into midfield, Cresswell at the back, Joe Gelhardt. I mentioned this on the debrief, and God love him, Gabe laughed at me. I mentioned this about 3 weeks ago. This is a guy who will shoot, Joe Gelhardt. We all know that his close control is very decent. I do not believe that Joe Gelhardt, at stages of this season, couldn't come on and in the number 10 position couldn't be more advantageous for Leeds than a disadvantage, which it seemingly is right now, his role at Leeds. In big games, Gelhardt in the Premier League has stepped up. Okay? So Joe Gelhardt, I think, could be a big of an impact. I know he got about 3 seconds yesterday, but I think he could be a bit of an impact. Jaden Anthony, we've spoken about him. Joseph, we've spoken about him. So here, circled on my sheet, you've got 4 players. So he whinges about the team being knackered. We see no changes at the beginning of the game, apart from Joel Perot up front, which we all know what we're going to get. And then throughout the game, he gives these players no minutes or barely any minutes. And he's done this throughout the entire season. So he makes absolutely no sense because they get no minutes. So he's not rotating the already knackered players that have only had 3-4 days of difference between the Leeds and Borough game. So he makes no sense. That is bollocks. Excuse my language. If your players are tired, I tell you what, when Sam Byram's having another stinker and he's not able to pass a 5-yard ball, he's not able to pass water, and he can't cross a road, take Byram off, put Gray right back where he's been all season, and bring Kamara on. You've even got Kamara on the bench. Okay? So there's rotation there, which he can implement. He doesn't do it. A Norwich fan messaged me last night and said, still no plan B from Farke then. And this is a guy who's won the league twice with them. And he's a cult hero at that club. He's not a cult hero at Leeds. He's only been here for 5 minutes. He's done a really good job so far with a ridiculous squad at this level. But he's still not got a plan B. And we don't see a plan B. And I'm sick of hearing in the press conference about the fans. I'm sick of hearing it. It's boring me. Now, we had an Argentinian man who was unbelievable for us. At the end, it went sour. Of course it did. But an Argentinian man who knew when to change it up. And this is the only reason we all bring up Bielsa, because that was the last time we were in the championship. Do you remember he'd change it up in the 35th minute, the 45th minute? He'd sometimes change it. Do you remember he hauled Phillips off after about 15 minutes in one game? Leeds' so-called best player at that point, some would say. Top managers, the difference between good coaches and top managers are they know when to change it, and they'll change it at any moment. You see Pep do it. You've seen Klopp do it. Top managers at that level, you've seen Thomas Frank do it, for goodness sake. They will make changes when they see things going down the pan. Things were going down the pan last night from the 12th minute when we couldn't get control of the game, and QPR were battering us. Elias Scher was getting more touches than any of our team, and he doesn't change it. And he sits there like that with a big grump on. And the Sky cameras go to him, and he sat there like shaking his head. Well, do something then, mate. Do something. I thoroughly respect the job he's done this season. A really, really top job. 90 points. But as I've said, it means jack if we don't go up. I don't care. And this is a guy now who's never been in a playoff picture. He's won the league twice, but he's never been in a playoff picture. So we'll see how this is dealt with, because rotation is going to have to happen with what we were seeing last night. As I say, guys, I'm going to keep getting into your comments. Don't worry about it. Set pieces. Set pieces. Now, I mentioned Cresswell. Ampadu in the middle. Cresswell on. Something from set pieces. Daniel, please, do we work on it in training? Can we have a consistent corner taker? Can we have someone who, if we're going to hit the first man every time, someone running at the front post, a flick on, anything? Perot he might get his first touch of the game, just a flick on. Someone at the near post if we're just going to hit the front post every time. A custom corner, someone on the edge of the box who's always going to hit the ball purely and drag another defender out. Something, just a custom corner, a difference, something aside from 15 different corner takers per match, and we lump it to the first man and they clear it. It is the most... I just laugh now when I watch it. You know, I was watching the game last night, and obviously I couldn't get to the game, but I'm sat there watching it, and my mates around me, you know, City fans, Leeds fans, all in this bar, to be fair. Oh, you got a corner, you got a corner. Just turning around to him, I was saying, well, I might as well just give him a goal kick. And he's like, you got a corner? I'm like, watch. Somerville corner, bounces before it hits the first man, cleared. The guy just turned around to me and went, Jesus, that was bad. I went, mate, like this all season. You know, you've got 2-3 players, really, where Leeds United have relied on throughout the entire season. There's been goals from nowhere else. Nowhere. And do you know what the worst thing about last night was? QPR played against us. Do you remember we were saying on the preview, are they going to sit in 2 banks? No, they didn't. That was more embarrassing because QPR played our game, possession football, Anderson, Willock, Scher, Lyndon Dykes, and battered us. Absolutely battered us at football. So what did we were saying in the preview as well? So we said it on Patreon as well, me and my old man. Steve Cook is about 40 years old. So I reckon if you get a striker who plays in front of Steve Cook, this is on the preview, by the way. On the preview, you can go and have a look because we do say these things. I reckon if you get a striker who sits in front of Steve Cook, and doesn't make run-ins behind because he's not quick enough and he's not agile off the back mat, off the back, the two centre halves. I reckon Steve Cook will enjoy that because you've got a striker playing in front of him. You don't have to look over his shoulder. Striker's in front of him. So that's why we said on the preview, and we've said multiple times this season, after he was dropped after putting in an exponentially good performance against Chelsea, I'd start Joseph. And, Bamford's done okay. He has in the Borough game, but that's it. Calm your passions. It's the Borough game only. Matteo Joseph is not only hungry, eager, at this moment in time, doing it for club and country when he's been involved, which Farke gives him about a minute per game normally. But this is a guy who is perfect for certain game states. If you've got a slow defence, Joseph is going to be in and around you, between the centre-backs, between the centre-back and the full-back, making those channel runs as well, being physical, being athletic, being pacey, being agile, and he's going to cause 40-year-old Steve Cook a problem. 40-year-old Steve Cook and 40-year-old Asmir Begovic and that whole back line, without any disrespect, they kept a clean sheet yesterday and they weren't bothered. But Mr. Farke thought that this would be a good way of playing, good way of starting. Why? Tactically, systematically, against QPR, why? Why does Joel Perreault start ahead of Joseph? Now, we were saying on the preview that I think this is going to happen. But we said on Generation Leeds that all the attributes for Joseph fit this game. An old, slow, stodgy defence, aside from Dunn on the other side, who did a job on Somerville. And I thought played really well, actually. They all played well. They were brilliant, QPR. But we made them look like prime Barcelona 9-10. That's what I'm talking about there. But he just throws on Perreault. Why, Daniel? Is it just experience? Is that all it is? If I'm Joseph, I'm thinking, fucking hell. This guy knows what he's doing. So these are all points of which we can have this discourse, we can have this discussion, because they're all relevant. They're all relevant points, and it's right to criticize this manager at this moment in time. Because I still stand by this, caliber, quality-wise, it's still arguably the best in the division. Now, the problem is, what happens when we lose all these next season? If we do stay down, if we are in the Championship next season, and you haven't got your Somerville, you haven't got your Nonso, you haven't got your Rutter, you haven't got your Joseph, potentially. 16 clubs in for him at the beginning of the season. What's the manager going to do then? Because he's never been in this situation before. Playoffs. Not winning the league Championship-wise. In a big predicament at a bigger club. What's he going to do then? So, Farke should be learning right now. But as the Norwich fan texted me last night, he still doesn't have a plan B then, does he? Still doesn't make the subs at the right time. So this is a pattern. And he's done really well right now. I keep having to say this. 90 points. But it means jack if we don't get promoted. And this team should, with the arsenal that we have, be able to get promoted. We've done an unbelievable job. He's done a good job in getting them back to where they are. But it means nothing. If we A, fail at the playoffs, and then B, fail, well, A, fail automatics, and B, fail promotion-wise. And he's for me, there's a few problems here. Right, let's get into a couple of comments. David. Hey from Oz, mate. Everything you say is always bang on. Brilliant knowledge of football and a realist. Such a spineless effort last night. Gutless. Cheers, Dave. Yeah, listen, really appreciate that, buddy. Let me just refresh the stream again. Hold on. Hello. Right, okay. Yeah, shout out to you, Dave. Cheers for that, mate. Yeah, and you bang on. Spineless, gutless, biggest game of the season, and you all bottle it. Bottle jobs. Leeds are falling apart again. Yeah, they are. 8 points in 21 post-international break. And then we'd gone previous, 14, 15 unbeaten. Come back after the international break and fallen apart. Bottled it. Can we go up? Yeah. Do you really have confidence? My confidence right now is at about 5%. I don't think we'll make the final. And if by some miracle, Ipswich don't pick up any points and we somehow remain in the top 2, fair play. Fair play, but there's no pressure on Ipswich now. They'll just play their football. No pressure because Leeds have taken that psychological imprint away from them now because there's no what they have to get a point. Great. Point in 2 games. Gabe said this last night. Abdullah, please make me feel better. Connor, any positives? That's over, mate. But then I think Gabe mentioned as well, we don't have to watch that again. I don't know if we will have to watch that again. I don't know if we're going to go into the playoffs and actually play football in teams. Because QPR just played football last night. That's all they did. Played football last night. And they just battered us. Bullied us. Beat us up. Brilliant. If I was a QPR fan, I'd be absolutely over the moon. But that, from a team in the top 2, Jesus Christ. Chris says, am I the only one feeling the deepest of the lows? No, mate. And this is why this is therapy for a lot of you and me, because it's talking about that utter shit show last night, that abomination that they served us. All the fans going down there. I said on the match thing last night, they should be refunded. I cannot believe that. You know what that reminded me of? It was almost like days of like Milanic or Warnock or McDermott. That was last night. That's probably why everyone's feeling the lowest of the lows, because that was when you used to get players playing for Leeds who the badge was so heavy and they didn't care. That last night was very indicative of that. It felt didn't care, weren't bothered, complacent, arrogant. Shout out to Ricky, top man. Lee says, do we change the manager if we don't go up? There's a conversation, mate. Yeah, of course there is. Of course there is. Because the 49ers will look at this. And they'll say at the most important time, they work on data, the most important time, they'll see he's got 90 points, but they'll be ruthless and they're real. They'll be real businessmen. 90 points, and they'll go, well, he was a sure to get us up this season. That's why we employed him. That's why we wanted to win the league. He'd got experience in winning the league. Wanted to go up top 2, top 3. Well, I still might go up playoffs, but I highly doubt it, personally now. There's no way we're going up. That's my opinion. And 3 days after this, you'll get Dave from Headingley or Steve-O from Melbourne, or you'll get Alan from Toronto telling me that I'm too negative, I'm pessimistic, and I'll need to get my head screwed on for the playoffs. And this is what you get every time. Post the channel, everybody. Just if you can be asked, go and watch my newest comments. You get all the clappers coming in 3 days' time commenting on this video. Happens every single time. But the real ones who stick to their opinions about players, go with the wind a little bit when it comes to form and results, and have the courage in their convictions, as Simon Jordan would say. I respect you massively. So shout out to all of you guys. But change the manager? Don't know. Do you want him sacked, Connor? No, I don't want him sacked. I don't want him sacked, Michael. Cheers for your donation, and cheers everybody for your donations. But he's bottling it now as well. Never get away from the fact that he's got the best. There's an argument he's got the best squad in the league. Up there with Leicester, there's an argument. Bear in mind, we were three of the relegated teams last season, so we're supposed to have one of the better squads anyway. This side is going to get ripped apart next season. Ripped apart. So all your favourite players, your Archie Grays, your Somervilles, your Rutters, your Nonsos, are all gone. So this is the worry. Because then this is what you got to think with Farke. Then Farke's got to work with that level of squad. Where you're seeing your Isaac Haydens, your Steve Cooks, players like that being in Leeds' side. Not saying those players specifically, but when we keep going down the pecking order, year after year after year after year, this is what happens. We've seen this before. We've seen this hymn sheet. Gaz, new member, shout out to you, buddy. Cheers, mate. Set piece coach is stealing a living. Bobby, I didn't even know we had one, mate. I didn't even know we had one. Ty says, I need to get to therapy. I'm mentally scarred after last night. Yeah, keep getting your comments in, super chats in, everybody as well. Lars says Melier still looks like he's shitting himself every time the ball comes into the box, and I can't understand how Perot got his goals from. I've always said with Perot, I think he's a bit luxury. As I said, goal difference, of course, he helps, great, but it means nothing at the end of the season if you bought a player for 12 to 16 million quid and he's not scoring big goals to win your matches. You know, your Coventry, for example, when he had to score last minute. And, you know, if we're having this conversation about him not being in games whatsoever, he needs to be winning games for us. That would be my argument. I'd come on here and I'd be like, well, do you know what? Against Watford, he won us the game. We beat Watford 3-2. Against Coventry, we drew 2-2. Perot got the goal in the last minute. When we beat Sunderland at home, Perot scored that goal. You know, these are the conversations that you can't have these conversations this year with Perot. Yeah, don't get me wrong, he scored in games, but I think when you look at it, a lot of these games have been when Leeds have been winning. It's when we've been comfortable. So he's done an okay job, but if he's to be as peronymous, which is a new term for him, as he is in pretty much 99% of games, and to be as soft as he is in 99% of his games, and to be easy to defend against in 99% of his games, he needs to be scoring and winning Leeds matches, not just scoring when the going's good. And that's the difference. Illan Meslier, as I've said multiple times, is a below average championship goalkeeper. And nobody who said he's improved can tell me where he's improved. Nobody. They'll just say clean sheets. But that's just bullshit because that's the whole unit defending. No one can tell me where he's improved. Handling, no. Distribution, I think it's got worse. It's got worse. Commanding from his area, box, appalling. Decision making, horrific. All the things that you attribute to a goalkeeper, he's at the same or he's gone down at the championship. So your confidence bruised from who you've got between the sticks. This guy never gets us out of any trouble whatsoever. We're under a bit of pressure. He's like a hologram. It'll go in. He's 6'7". I mentioned on last night's stream, he might as well be 5'7" because we get no advantage from him being that tall. Yeah, keep getting your comments in. Shout out to Eddie, new member, top man Eddie. Bottle jobs, yeah. You guys are all sort of agreeing. Steve says Farke was the same at Norwich, heavily relied on Buendia and Pookie like we do on Korean Rutter and Nonso. If they weren't on it, they're out of ideas. I think Farke is still here next season regardless. A lot of you guys wanting a new manager. Jay's in the building. Jay's the therapy pal. It hurts being a Leeds fan at times, and we need streams like this to vent. Keep up the good work, mate. I've got a big headache from last night. We were in this bar last night and it was just like rock music and it was killing my head. It was absolutely, I actually didn't drink that much. I think I had 3 or 4 pints, but my head is hurting so much this morning. And I had all right sleep, didn't drink a lot. And all I can put it down to is that insane, horrendous rock music and Leeds United. Genuinely, I've nearly got a migraine. I was bubbling all last night. I couldn't. People are trying to talk to me last night. And I'm looking through them. Oh, people I've not seen in ages. Oh, hi, Connor, you're right. Not seen you in ages, mate. Yeah. What's up? Oh, nothing. I just want to break something. I want to break something. Do you know what I mean? Michael, another donation. Thanks, mate. Will our players be sold if we sell our loan players leave? If we let our loan players leave? Presumably you're talking about the players out on loan, mate. Will they be sold? I've no idea, buddy. I've no idea, but it's going to be an absolute show in the summer if we remain down. And it's a serious conversation that we have to have. This is why, when I get called negative and I get called pessimistic, I don't personally think I think I'm a realist. I genuinely believe I'm a realist. But this is why I try, there'll be games where I'll predict us losing. With Leeds, I've always set back because I've thought that players haven't had the mentality to wear that badge. And it's since I've been alive, it's always been the thing. This season, I thought these players were a little bit more mentally strong. Things that we've not seen before. The 9-game winning streak. Never seen that in my life before. I know it sounds ridiculous, but winning at Millwall, winning in these tough, dingy, horrible places like Bristol City, we don't do that a lot. Ipswich, Norwich, That's not very Leeds. So I genuinely believed, I was like, this is different. This feels different. But I don't know what it is. I think it's years of just bottling it, bottling it in 9-10 against, Bristol Rovers last day of the season. After Man United, we were just horrific, absolutely awful. Bielsa, 18-19 season, completely bottling it. It's just these traumatic things that I've had as a Leeds United fan, and you've had as Leeds United fans, where it's killer. It's just absolutely killer, and it plays in your mind. And even post international break, I was looking at it, I was like 8 games left. I was like, right, okay, checkered flag goes down. Do you remember? If you've all watched the stream, checkered flag goes down. Here we go. Come on, Leeds. And that checkered flag has gone down, and we've gone straight into a barrier, and the car's set on fire. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying Leicester and Ipswich have done anything exponentially great anyway, because they haven't. I mean, Leicester have got promoted, but we've all stuttered. But the week that we had, where we picked up a point against Blackburn and Sunderland, didn't score a goal, was truly mind-boggling. And us reaching that points total of 90 the other night against Middlesbrough, but still against Middlesbrough, it wasn't a great performance. We've conceded 7 goals in 2 games. And you'll get people coming on here afterwards and telling me that I need to be confident for the playoffs. Believe in the lads. I saw a tweet the other day, and we were 3-0 down last night. 3-0 down, and someone said, keep the faith. Believe in the lads. Then I start to question my own sanity. I genuinely start to question my own sanity. And I'm nearly headbutting walls. It's like, just believe in the lads. I'm supposed to be meeting someone from the San Francisco 49ers next week. Facts. I'm supposed to be meeting someone next week in Leeds from the San Francisco 49ers, right? But that doesn't mean I'm going to change how my opinions are on here. I'm still going to try, evaluate what I see, analyze what I see. Sometimes the mentality is just bewildering to me. It really is. A lot of people saying Corbran. Yeah. Nobody wins the playoffs with bad form going into it. Facts, Paul. Facts. Connor, 3 losses in 5 and 2 against bottom 5. Yeah, mate. Nobody will mention that we've dropped points against Sheffield Wednesday and Rotherham and Birmingham and Huddersfield. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we've done well. We've done well this season. I keep having to say this because you get the clappers coming in saying I'm the worst person on planet Earth again. We have done well. It's a 90-point total. But if we turn this around now, I'll be stunned. Straight up. I had a call with my old man last night. My old man was boiling as well, still is. But I'll be stunned. They've just completely fallen off. Completely fallen. Why wasn't Farke fuming in the interview? What Farke will do is he'll start talking. He knows what he's doing. He'll start talking about how big the club is and how great the club is and how the players have got to stand up and play for this shirt. That's what he'll say, He loves doing this thing, and it plays with Leeds fans. A lot of Leeds fans love it. It's like, he gets Leeds. He gets it. He gets it, Farke. It's like, well, yeah, but I'd rather see a bit of tactical ingenuity, a bit of pragmatism than him just being a chest beater, and trying to play to the fans. He knows exactly what he's doing a lot of the times. And this isn't me genuinely saying that I don't like Farke. I don't respect what he's done. And invariably, I want him sacked. That's not me saying that. But the guy, at this moment in time, I think his head's too far up his arse. He needs to start making the right decisions at the right moment. And maybe his head isn't far too up his arse. Maybe he's just not a very good coach, and he's a good coach. Maybe that's it. Because very good coaches know what to do at certain situations to change the tide. We weren't playing against Ipswich or Leicester last night. We were playing against QPR. Already safe, really. 17th. They don't score goals, QPR. Look at the last 10 fixtures. QPR don't score. They struggle to score goals. 4-0. Say it to yourself again. I say the scoreline, and I'm still bewildered. 4-0 against QPR in a must-win. Muck's in the building. Crescencio Somerville named Sky Bet Player of the Championship. Well, if you get given that honour, you at least turn up and bring your A game. Yeah, Mucks, thanks for your donation, mate. And I don't disagree. He was awful. Was it Jimmy Dunn? I think the right back was speaking about him in the preview. He was brilliant against him. Completely nullified him. But we're just too reliant on him, aren't we, Mooks? That's Farke's game plan. Rutter and Somerville. That's it. So that's why I'll always try to give him a little bit more slack. But I agree, he was woeful last night. But they were all woeful. How many goals have our central midfield scored between them this season? Goals from different areas. How many goals do we get from set pieces throughout the season? How many? Now Pascal's out, it's nothing. But then he doesn't change it up and maybe put Cresswell in there. Doesn't give Cresswell game time. So now if he throws Cresswell in, he's going to be well off it. Well off the pace. Now if he throws Gelhardt in, for a sustained period of time, he's probably going to be a little bit off it in terms of match fitness. Jaden Anthony, you might as well just literally send him back. Might as well. I mean, listen, I know we're not going to do that, but you might as well have sent him back in January. Completely pointless for a really, in my opinion, decent. I really, really like Jaden Anthony. Good ball striker, good crosser, likes getting a shot off, good with his left, good with his right, good balance, quick. Doesn't use him. And his solution is to throw shit at a wall and to see what sticks and throw all the attackers on and go to a 3-1-6 formation when it's not going his way. I don't really see tactical ingenuity there, to be honest. Michael, thanks again, mate. Be interesting. With the 49ers watch the game last night and their thoughts. Sheza says, not having a decent striker for 5 years has cost us. We have got one, Sheza. We've got one on the bench, mate. But yeah, there's a lot of you guys who aren't happy at all. At all. Sujal. And that's exactly what I say now. Absolutely no point in us taking a corner. Just hand it to their goalkeeper. Paul says, remember when you were sat next to me against Palace when we got demolished? That changed nothing. Not surprising we bottled it as we always do. Remember Wigan, Watford. Watch the heart rate. But Paul, but what did we say in that game? What did we say? I'm not the oracle here. I'm not the oracle, but you have got to point out because when you write, mate, haven't you? What did we say? We turned to each other in that Palace game when we capitulated, and we were saying the badge was too heavy, and that theme runs on at critical moments. Palace. Do you remember that game? We'd have beaten Palace. I think we'd have gone to 35 points, and we had a good run in. We'd gone to 35 points. We scored, hadn't we? I think it was Bamford. In a brilliant position, and then the badge got too heavy. The pressure was too much. Post international break, checkered flag's gone down. Who's gonna step up? Who's gonna want it? Watford, Coventry, Sunderland, Blackburn, QPR, all pre-international break. That's 15 points. Minimum 13. We've got 8 points out of 21. As I've said, we've completely crashed into the barrier. Never mind the checkered flag. JC says it's when Farke after the game said Perot is the natural Bamford replacement. Funny how earlier this season Farke said he wasn't a 9 and that's why Rutter was played there. Joseph has to start for me. Do you know what the funny thing is though, Jay, about the whole thing? Who said at the start of the season, and do you remember us asking the question? I believe it was Perot, wasn't it, at the start of the season? Why? And it was asked, wasn't it? Do you remember he gave the monologue, Farke, Bielsa-esque monologue, where he said, listen, guys, I'm going to address this once. I used to be a striker. Look at my previous history. Timu Pukki scored this amount of goals, and he was saying it, and I remember listening to it, and I just felt so like patronized listening to it because as a fan base, we could see that the Rutter Perot experiment wasn't working because they both dropped into the number 10. Rutter wasn't a natural 9 and it wasn't working for a period of time. It was, Christmas time, wasn't it? And he said, almost by the end of the season, you'll see what I'll have done with the strikers. I used to be a striker myself. What have you done then, mate? What have you done? Ian says Farke's fault. Ban Perot over Joseph. WTF. what the fans want. It won't do what fans want. But I just think it's almost. Yeah, Hassan, stop going OTT, Connor. The only thing that our men have been physically battered, hence, yeah, there we go. First one of the stream. Bash. Okay, yeah, we've just been battered by QPR, humiliated in our biggest game of the season on Sky TV, but we're going over the top. Hey, we're back. We're all going over the top. All the super chats don't make sense. You're all going way too far. Listen, I always say on this channel, subjectivity is an absolute thing. Different opinions. I always get people on the debrief who disagree with me because I love that. I try to do the fan debate, the radio show with you guys. I want you to all disagree with me. We can have a conversation. I don't randomly pick specific people. I've never done that. And people on the radio show will understand that and they'll be able to vouch for me on that one. But you're wrong. You can have a different opinion, but you're wrong. This deserves people going OTT. Every single content creator has been ranting. We're fans. And if you're in the pub with your mates, you're going nuts last night. Every single person I was in there with, Leeds fan, was going nuts because of how disgraceful that performance was. But once again, subjectivity is fine. People with different opinions, but you're wrong. I fundamentally disagree with you that people cannot be going OTT after that absolute shit show. And you comment, being physically battered. The only thing is that our men have been physically battered since. So what do you mean? What are you talking about? So are you saying that we're getting fouled too much now? So manager, change it up. Because he keeps talking about what you're talking about, Hassan, as well. But he's got options on the bench, Hassan. Cresswell, Gelhardt, Anthony, Joseph, Kamara. Hassan, he's got options. So change it up. No? Joseph up front, Kamara, midfield, Archie right back. He can do these things, Hassan. He's a manager. Gets paid a lot of money to do these things. Dave, shout out to you, mate. I'm dreading going to ER for the final game, Connor. How flat will it be? Yeah, I'm probably going to be there as well, mate. I guess, listen, I guess all we can hope for is, I mean, if they go out and beat Southampton, I guess it's form going into the playoffs. Hold on, everyone, just going to refresh quickly. But yeah, I guess form going into the playoffs, a win against Southampton would be good. But yeah, I think they're psychologically beaten. I hope I'm wrong. Mike goes quiet. I think it's just because I've gone off, mate. Hopefully it's fine. Is it on? Yeah, it should be fine, mate. Thank God. I thought it switched off. Ty says, will that be Rodon gone, Connor? Yeah, it will be, mate. Yeah, look, 100%. He's not, I don't think Rodon's coming to the Championship. I think he's had a good enough season to get like a Prem move or a move around Europe or something like that. You probably get someone like Ipswich looking at him, realistically, if they are to go up, which I think they will. John, I wasn't, mate. I was a midfielder. I think that's why I get on the midfielders a lot. Exactly, pal. He was blowing smoke with that striker monologue. Yeah. Yeah, facts here from Lorcan as well. The thought of a Leeds team with Perot and without Nonso, Cree, Rutter gives me chills. And this is where we'll see with Farke. Because he ain't got a Pookie. He's not going to have a Buendia. He's definitely not going to have the strikers and goal threat that we have right now. So that's what I'm saying. I was speaking to KG about it last night. We're having a chat. He's going to have Championship players, but proper Championship players, not Premier League players at this level. And I think we'll keep hold of Ampadu. Archie might stay another season. And we might get some half decent players in, but the caliber of squad that we've got now should be in the Premier League. We should be blowing away this league in terms of with the other two. We should be going up. Like there shouldn't be. It shouldn't be finishing above Leeds United with the squad we've got. Were you in an MCR pub last night, Connor? Bet that was a long night. It was, mate. But the good thing was it was full of Leeds fans. You know, I've got a good community of Leeds fans here in Scumland. A good community of them. So yeah, there was proper Leeds fans out last night, which was good. As I say, I tried to get to the game, nearly got there, didn't get there in the end, and thank God. But I was speaking to Brownie all last night as well about it, and yeah, Brownie did say something actually. He said, what did he say? He said, Byram's no better than Ayling. I can't disagree with him on that. But once again, all of you started the stream with me, even at the start of the championship campaign. I told you about Byram. Average Joe, average Stan. He's been all right this season for a free transfer, but the guy is very basic on every level. Struggles to really get like an accurate passing range throughout a game. Stupid tackles. I mean, stupid tackles he was putting in last night. Loves a Hail Mary tackle to look good in front of the fans, because obviously some Leeds fans rate that higher than a goal. Timing sometimes off. He's not reliable or dependable, and he's just average. Just a really average player. And it says a lot when no clubs are in for him in the summer apart from Leeds. But listen, he's been an okay signing overall when you look at it. But, you know, there's people who tell me that they'd take him as a rotation option in the Premier League. Smash a like, people. Help the algorithm out. Yeah, guys, your friends and stuff to see this, and other people. I really appreciate you liking the stream. It just means that even with this drilling headache that I've got, it ranks higher on the algorithm. So yeah, and I hope you're enjoying the content as well. Oh, right, lads and lasses, I'm gonna go. I need some paracetamol and a lie down. God, Leeds have just crippled me. They've absolutely crippled me. So please just do me a favor. Slap a like on the video. Thank you so much for your support. We will be doing a debrief. Oh, trust me, we will be doing a debrief very soon. We might even do it this weekend. I'm going to try and get the lads together, so keep on tune for that. We're going to have videos out as well. We're going to head on over to the Patreon now, read out a few of the Patreon comments. If you want to join that, link in the description below. Merchandise, if you want some merchandise, click the link in the description below. Help me out. And if you want to become a YouTube member, you can do that as well, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. If you've just joined the stream, hit the replay. See you in a bit. Cheers.